Happy Wednesday, everybody. Thank you so much, as always, for downloading or streaming the Be Our Guest podcast. Hope that Wednesday is rolling right along already. It's time for your listener questions, and Scotty G and Ricky join me for today's show, and we get some great questions about Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. We have a listener who's taken down a multi-generational travel party, and they're going to the party for the very first time, so we give them some tips to make sure they have a great experience. We also get a great question from a listener who's headed out to Disneyland for the very first time, but they're a party of 6. We give them some great both on-site and off-site options for a place to stay where they're going to have a great time. Also, we talk about Jollywood Nights and some of those special events happening around the party. Are they worth it to spend a little bit of extra money once you've already bought that hard ticket for the party itself? This and much more coming your way on today's show. Don't forget, today's podcast is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next trip to your favorite Disney destination for no additional cost to you. Check out all the details today over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link when you shop online. That one extra click really does support everything we do here on the show. It's beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you so very much to our Patreon supporters. You guys make the show possible, so a huge thank you to you. You can support us as well. It's just $5 a month, like a cup of coffee a month. And you get a bonus show every week for that support. It's called Mike in the Midwest. So come on over this week. We'd love to have you. Patreon.com/BeOurGuestPodcast.
Ready to take a trip to the world? You found the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. This is where your memories come front and center on our podcast stage.
Welcome to episode 2538 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Wednesday to you. Hope you're having a great week. We are back. It's, of course, time to answer your listener questions. We're going to have a great midweek and wrap to your week over the next few days, because we're going to, of course, take those listener questions out of the inbox here in the live chat as we are broadcasting live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter, and Twitch. We're having a good time on our 5 locations. Thanks to everybody who has joined us live in all those locations. We have quite a crowd joining us on this as we record this Monday afternoon. So hope you're having a great time. But on Friday, and we're kind of chomping at the bit already, we're going to give our reactions to the D23 announcements this past weekend. Got a lot to say. Hope you don't like water. Oh, well, we got to wait. It's fine. Ka-chow. I do like cars, so it'll be fine. It'll be cool. And I like cruise ships. So it's we got to get through listener questions first. I want to get there. So that's coming Friday. I mean, you could ask a question today in the live chat, though, and that could force our hand. I mean, good.
They already are asking questions in the live chat. I can see them.
Okay, there we go. Michael Dolan, point. I was trying to bait, throwing a hook, into the water there and seeing if the fish bite.
Going fishing?
It worked. There we go. Okay, so let's get the crew introduced. Ricky, she's at the DisneyWorldAfterAll.com, which I visited this weekend, and the MouseForLess.com. Ricky,
yes.
Happy Wednesday. And
yes.
don't forget to shout out the Donna.
I will, yes. I have to shout out my mom and my dad because for those who are watching live, I have redone my Disney room. So I am in a temporary chair right now. This is actually a chair from my outdoor patio. My the real chair is downstairs. But we redid everything. I have new artwork. I have a lot of great bookshelves that my dad and Brian helped to build. And then I have all my tchotchkes and everything, which I'm still debating how I want to set up my chair in the room. I may do it so that the tchotchkes are in the background eventually, but yeah, I have to give her a huge shout out and my dad, and Brian, because Brian did help as well. They both, we're busy hammering away to put the bookshelves together. So the room looks great, and I've got a lot of stuff. So yeah, a big shout out to them. And a big shout out to my fingers because they did a great job typing all these articles that I had to do. The finger exercises worked, I'm just gonna say. So yeah, it was definitely a very busy weekend between writing for D23 Expo and redoing my Disney room. It was a very Disney weekend this weekend, just not at Walt Disney World. So it was fun though.
And I mean, we haven't talked since the weekend. It was really cool for me because I go to bed early on Saturday night. So I went to bed.
Yeah.
The only thing I had seen announced because they Avatar I saw, boom, and I saw like Walt Disney's coming back to life in the form of an animatronic on Disneyland, and that's when I went to bed. So I woke up to 4 new ships and the Disney Cruise Line fleet and a bunch of other stuff. So I was like, whoa, wait, what? But
yeah,
cool.
I might have stayed up until 1 a.m. I might have may or may not have watched a bootleg live stream because I have no idea whether people were supposed to live stream or not.
We a bunch of folks did in our clubhouse, so it was cool.
Exactly. So there was that. So thanks to those who live streamed because I totally watched it. But it was a lot of fun actually getting, because that's the whole point of like the announcements, you know, and doing them. Like the whole point is to have everybody come together and feel the camaraderie, and like when you don't live stream it, it makes it so that like that camaraderie just isn't felt as much. Like the excitement was in my house, you know what I'm saying, as we're sitting there watching all the announcements come through. So I would like to put out to Disney, and the rumors, I've heard a lot of different things, you know, that they had people pay extra money to go to the Honda Center, and that's why. And you know, but you know what? This is your big commercial, getting people excited and hyped about going to the parks. This is the thing you guys need to air to make sure that people get to see it. Whether it's a live stream live or whether it's aired on Disney Plus, if you want to do that route, like that's great. But like you definitely need to have this one going out somewhere, because watching it, you know, I cracked up with all the Deadpool stuff. Like I've never seen Deadpool, but I know like Ryan Reynolds and the whole thing, and so like I was cracking up so hard at all that. And Uncle Jesse, you know, opening the show, and like it was so great. So they did a really good job, and I would have just liked to have seen an official live stream instead of a bootleg one. But I enjoyed it either way.
Still
so.
dumbfounds. I mean, it's like Apple doing an event to announce an iPhone and not putting it on. You know, I don't get it. But we could talk about that on Friday, because Friday's show is going to be dedicated to our thoughts, because we opened it up to our callers last on the call-in show on Sunday night. So it's our turn on Friday, but I give the callers the first shot at it on Sunday
You should,
night.
as we should, yes.
As we do, because this is our community. So Scotty G joining us from Must See Adventures. You got to check that out over on YouTube, and still working through the North Sea and everything happening on Anthem of the Seas and in Norway, and Stavanger, I think, is where we were kind of left off there. The next place, all the ports, trying to keep track of all the Norwegian places. Scotty G, happy Wednesday. What's up?
Happy Wednesday, Mike. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, we're at, I don't, if you watch the episode, I pronounce it 4 different ways. I honestly don't know. I think the captain said Stavanger, but that just did not roll off the tongue well for me, so I went with Stavanger the whole time. But our next episode, I'm going to tell you, I haven't even started editing it yet, so I got to get on it because I'm behind. It might be like an hour long because we are in Olden, and it's the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. It is my favorite day of the trip is the next episode, and it is spectacular. So can't wait to share that with everyone. But yeah, lots of great news, Mike. I know we got some questions that are firing in, so let's get in on those answering those listener questions, right?
All right, let's jump into one from the inbox to lead us off, and we got some here live too, so we are going to get on it first thing because it is Halloween season officially. It is August. I mean, it is time to roll. We've had our first Halloween party at the Magic Kingdom, so let's hop in. It's from Lauren. Hey, BOGP crew, I'm going to be going down with my parents for my mom's birthday week, August 23rd through the 30th. And let's just say this mental health social worker is also very ready for a Disney vacation. Shout out to those people keeping everybody safe with the mental health workers. That is awesome. Thanks for doing what you do. As a family who has been to Disney World many times, we have the system down. However, we are doing a first-time thing for my mom's birthday. Hang on. I mean, I paid all this extra money. I got to do this every time I mention it.
The not-so-scary Halloween party.
I have to. I'm sorry. I got the button. The last time I went to a Halloween party was 2 years ago, and a day before a hurricane hit, which meant everything was rained out, and truly didn't get to experience a Halloween party. I would love any tips and tricks you may have for the first-timers to the party. We love shows and parades, so we want to make sure that we hit those as well as all the yummy treats. I have 2 questions, though. One, how soon should we arrive to the different shows and parade? My mom is in a wheelchair, so I want to make sure she has a good seat. Okay, so shows and parades. How early? Ricky, what would you say? Because mom's in a wheelchair, so we got to make sure there are spots you can go to for folks in wheelchairs.
There are, especially for the parade. I'm not so positive about the fireworks, but there's definitely some spots. And I usually show up for the parade and the fireworks definitely for the parade about 30 minutes beforehand, so I'm in the front. And then about the fireworks is probably about the same amount of time. So usually what I do, and we have a guide actually. There's one that's way more in depth on the Maps for Less, and then I have a shorter guide on my site too at Disney World After All. But basically, kind of like the things that you need to figure out what you want to prioritize. So it sounds like you want to definitely prioritize the fireworks and the parade. I kind of break it down of, you can get into the park at 4:00. Take advantage of that 4:00 window because you can do things like eat. Now you can't eat the specialty stuff, although I think they did start busting some of that stuff out early this year. But you got to make sure you eat dinner, whether it's I'll eat outside of the parks, and then when I get to the park, I'm good and just snack the rest of the night. But if you haven't done that, you definitely want to make sure you eat something that's kind of considered dinner. I would ride some of the rides that will not be open during the party. And then also probably get in line for some of the rarer characters. Now I'm hearing that the 7 dwarves are not there this year, which is actually kind of a bit of a surprise. But if you want to meet Jack and Sally, that's usually one that now this year it is interesting because I saw that the wait ballooned up before the party started, but then as the party went down, the wait times went way down. So I'm not sure if Jack and Sally are going to be as popular this year, so I'll have to keep my eye on that. Then once 7:00 hits, go on attractions, buy, merchandise if you want that, meet characters with shorter lines, and grab those specialty themed snacks and things like that. Then from 9 to 11, that's when the fun really starts. So you're going to want to get your spot for the Not So Spooky Spectacular fireworks, trick or treat, and then catch the villains Hocus Pocus Spectacular at that point if you're not going to stay all evening. And then from 11 to 12, you're going to want to do that second Bootia parade. That's usually the one that's a little less crowded. Yep. Trick or treat, meet characters again, ride attractions, and then eat more specialty snacks, and then dance parties. Then last at midnight is actually the final Hocus Pocus Villain Spectacular, and that's the one I suggest seeing if you are going to be able to stay through the whole night, because that one is much less crowded than all the others. So I would say definitely get in a good spot for the fireworks and the parade about 30 minutes beforehand, and then kind of follow the guidelines that I kind of spelled out, and I think you're going to be good. Yeah, so it's a great party. I'm going this year. I just was on the phone with Disney and I got my tickets, so I'm going in September, so I'm really excited.
I'd say 30 minutes minimum if you're really into parades. Yeah. I mean, because that's like if you miss it, you miss it. I'd say maybe 45 at a good spot.
Well, I would say 45 if you want Main Street USA now for the parade. Now I usually go to Frontierland. That's usually where I end up seeing the parade because it's usually a little less crowded over there. I don't think I've ever seen a special event parade on Main Street because I'm like, I don't want to fight all those crowds. So I usually go to Frontierland to watch it.
Our second question, which you actually just tackled already, said if we want to meet a character or two, how soon should we line up for those? You kind of tackled that. You want to jump on those right away. I know the party starts at 7, but we can start getting in at 4, which is our plan, to get in there as soon as we can. Any tips and tricks be greatly appreciated. Thanks for all you do, for all the magic that you bring into my own life as I'm driving to and from work. You all can make any day brighter, and I thank you all for that. Lauren, out in Indiana. Well, you just made my day brighter with that compliment, so thank you for that. That's really kind of you. So really appreciate it. You're going to have a great time. So, Scott, you've been to the party many times, so just give Lauren a little, but what else? I mean, because I've only been to the party a few times, and it's been a bit. It's been a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I liked everything Ricky was saying there, and Mike, you kind of hit it too, especially for a first timer, I think the parade has got to be your number one thing. That's the draw to me. So I like getting there 30 to 45 minutes because the wheelchair situation, I don't know, because I know there's a specialty area, so I don't know how fast those fill up. Maybe you might need to talk to guest services ahead of time, maybe in the park when you get there at 4. Maybe just ask a cast member about where that location is and how early they fill up. But regardless, if you can't get in one of those, I mean, there are roped off sections. I'm thinking about Frontierland that Ricky was talking about. You can kind of get up there early-ish. Like I like the 40 minutes honestly because like that is the draw, and there's great entertainment, especially when you're Frontierland. Like the cast members come out, the Cadaver Dans are singing to you, or there's like entertainment things happening. So it's a blast. Like the time goes by really quick while you're waiting. So definitely get there early.
And I will say too, this year we have lost. I mean, it could have been just a one-time thing. I mean, who knows? Seven Dwarfs could pop back out. You know, who knows? Maybe they were in the cottage and you know, maybe Dopey had a fever. But speaking of Frontierland, which we're going to talk about on Friday as well. But speaking of Frontierland 2024, the Hitchhiking Ghosts.
That was so cool.
Oh, that was awesome, wasn't it?
I about died when I saw that. I was like, you have got to be kidding me. That is amazingly cool.
That was awesome. That was kind of, you know, that's at the core when Disney surprises us with stuff like that. That's what the Disney fan in me, that's when I geek out, right? When like you look up there and you're like, holy cow, that's a Hitchhiking Ghost up there on top of the Country Bears. Like, boom. I mean, I wasn't even at the party, and I just kept watching the video that I saw. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, if I was walking through Frontierland and I saw that, like, I just keep walking back and forth because I just want to see that because, like, they were there. I mean, that was just
And they'd be like, sir, please stop stalking us.
Like, I'm trying to hitchhike with you. Let's go. I'll be the fourth ghost. Let's go.
So,
yeah.
Ricky might know this. Are the majority of parties sold out? Because I know you just bought one for September.
I did. The majority of the parties for this month are sold out. September, I'm not sure if they've sold out any of the dates yet. I know they've sold out for Halloween, but I don't think they've sold out for anything else in October. So
I always think about something like that, Mike. Like maybe that's a draw, right? Like, oh my gosh, that was awesome. They didn't talk about that, and now I want to go buy a ticket. Like it was a last minute thing. Like, oh, we're not selling tickets like we used to. Like, what could draw people in that's different? You know, that's kind of where my mind goes.
I mean, it's really got to be for like the Disney fan though, right? Because I think but I mean, are casuals going to hard ticket events like this? I mean, because I think they have to be
that
really,
could get the Disney fan that like you and I, we're not going this year, right? But maybe you and I are going to make a bros trip and go see the party.
Right. I mean, totally. I mean, that could be a thing that pushes the needle just enough to make you buy that ticket. Yeah, right.
I was actually really worried that I would have trouble buying tickets today because of the fact that the Halloween party had started. And so I put it off over the weekend because I was just too busy with everything that I was doing. And so I was like, I really hope that the party doesn't sell out for the date that I was looking for. So like, because I figured after everybody had seen all the fun that had happened at the party on Friday, I was thinking for sure the tickets would start to sell out a little bit faster, but maybe we're not there yet. I don't know if the tickets have hit the point of too much, you know, now. But I know that the ones in August were definitely cheaper than the ones in September and definitely cheaper than the ones in October. So I don't know if they've hit their tipping point on price. But I know that over the past few years, obviously it's sold out like that. So this year it seems to have mellowed a little bit, which is nice because then people aren't necessarily like, oh my God, you know, you're still going to have the ones who don't buy their tickets in time. But I feel like at least there's a chance now. So we'll see.
I am working on growing a third kidney so I can go to a party one of these days. But
of course,
it's still teeny tiny right now. So we'll figure it out. Let's see. KY_1216 is over on Instagram. Thanks for watching us over on Instagram. She's planning a first Disneyland California trip next October. We're a family of 6. We're going to be celebrating our 2 youngest boys turning 7 and 3. Lord help you. That's a handful. It's going to be fun. Our older 2 are going to be 11 and 13. Oh my gosh. She has a teen, a preteen, and a 7 and a 3-year-old. God bless you.
Yes.
Which room type or Disney resort is best and most cost effective for a family of 6? So that's 2 different things. Okay. So best Disneyland Hotel has all kinds of different rooms, and they have some that really work out well for a family of 6. Disneyland Hotel, if you look, they have all kinds of different room types. It's expensive. But if it's like a once in a 5-year kind of trip or once in a 10-year kind of trip, it's a splurge. Nice. Look at Disneyland Hotel. However, if you're looking for cost effective, there's lots of great options in the good neighbor category right across the street. You could look at the Howard Johnson, Scott, you can name them because you've stayed a lot of good neighbors, but there's, because you like Fairfield. I mean, that you said
I like the Fairfield, even like the JW Marriott sometimes has some good deals, like buy 4 nights, get a night free kind of a thing. So there's some nice properties around there for sure. Absolutely.
Yes. So I mean, I was always like, man, I'm never gonna stay at a Good Neighbor because it's not Disney owned. Because I'm like on site because I'm a Walt Disney World person. But people always say, and I've always heard people say, when you stay at a Good Neighbor, sometimes you're actually closer to the parks than you are at the on-site hotels. I'm like, that can't be true. But it can. I mean, you can literally be closer to like the gates at DCA or at Disneyland. So, yeah, especially with the kids, because some of those places have like nice little water parks or like swimming pools and themed suites and all kinds of stuff. So I would look at it and then just do a cost analysis. What's it worth to you? But Disneyland Hotel is awesome.
And you can, all of us, I think, can attest to this. As someone that loves to stay on site at Walt Disney World, I've never once stayed off property at Walt Disney World in my life. I was very skeptical of doing it at Disneyland. Like, I was like really nervous, but I weighed the options, like Mike was saying. I was like, for my family, every other trip that we go out there, like we stay on site versus off site just to save money. And honestly, it's always a great experience. So don't hesitate. But I like what Mike was saying though. If this is a big splurge trip, I mean, looks like you got some big celebration for the 7 and 3-year-olds, 6 of you. Like don't overlook Disneyland Hotel or Pixar Pier Hotel too. Like that looks really. I really love what they're doing with the updates there. Honestly, so
me too.
I'm really wanting to stay. We talked about that on Sunday night, I think, on the call-in show. Was that I really want to stay at Pixar Place Hotel because, I mean, just like it's bright, it's colorful. Like I want to see Joe Gardner, Scotty G's brother from another mother, playing tickling the ivory down the line. I mean, that's I know it sounds dumb to want to stay there for that reason, but it's like, I mean, Disney has brought a character to life and it themes the hotel. Like that is just like that's so cool. And I want to eat
that restaurant,
Great Maple. That was the other reason. Exactly. That's why I want to go. Because that restaurant looks so dang good. I'm definitely eating there in January. Multiple times. Maybe. We'll see. Oh, my God. Speaking of, did you guys see the update to Hungry Bear? Holy smokes.
Yes.
Oh, sign me up.
So
that's going to be soon, too, it feels like.
Yeah.
I hit the wrong button.
What was that, Mike?
I had the robot voice going because I had the wrong panel pushed up on the board. I was trying to hit the bell. Yeah, that kind of scared me. I was like, "What?"
Did they have another question, or they were just asking about the rooms?
Yeah, they were just asking about the rooms. Yeah, but yeah. So that Hungry Bear though, it said opening soon.
Yeah,
I know. So it seems quick, right?
Well, and we got the news. We got the news that Tiana's opening in November at Disneyland. So that's, I mean,
and they probably didn't need to do too much to it. They probably just added some Country Bear, stuff to it. But they probably didn't need to add like a terrible amount of stuff to it.
You know what's gonna hurt me if my friend is gone, Mike.
I know is that a beaver?
The beaver bear guy up at the front. Like
exactly.
That, if he's gone, I'm a little bit of me is going to be taken away. A little bit of my soul is going to be taken away. So I'm going to have to see my friend Joe Gardner to help revive me.
I'm saying, I know it's like the Lord. It's like the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. We've learned that in the last 24 hours, but we'll talk about that on Friday too. All right, Ryan's got a question over on Instagram. Says this is a good question. You think resorts are in development, but perhaps not announced or overshadowed by the lands and attractions that we've heard about?
That's a good question.
There was a huge rumor that the Reflection site there by the old River Country area, it's been primed, right? It was ready to rock. And they said, not so. As Lee Corso would say, shout out Jason, not so fast, my friends. That thing was ready to rock. And then it was like, nope.
I have a theory.
Nope. I bet you something goes there eventually.
Well, yeah, I have a theory. So they were really focused on the parks for this D23. And so I think that they really wanted to emphasize these are the attractions that we are building to get you to come down here to the parks. And while the resorts are definitely something that get people to come down, they aren't like that. They don't have that same like pop wow draw to it. So I'm wondering if like the Reflections Hotel is coming, but it will get announced later because it's not like as big of a deal as something like, the Cars attractions that are coming. The pop isn't the same. People, they're not going to be talking as much about, Reflections as they would be about Cars. So I don't know. That's kind of my theory on it. I'm sure it's coming. but it's coming at a later date instead of now.
Well, Scott, I mean, I think exactly what D23 Expo proved to us is that Disney had to have an answer to Epic Universe. And I mean, it had to be, like Ricky said, it had to be theme parks, and it had to be attractions. It had to be here and now. It had to be concrete. It had to be, and you know, kind of a pun, but it had to be at this point, but it had, you know, it had to be like these, they said this right at the very front, like this is happening. Like the
this is not dirt's moving.
This is dirt's moving. And I mean, they had, you know, they had to be committed to it. I mean, is that kind of what you think too? Like that's why kind of resorts are like, I mean, resorts are great; they're money makers. But this is like,
I was about to say, but how are they going to make the money for these projects? Are resorts, and I'm with Ryan. I think resorts are in development. I think there's land being surveyed on the property, because where are you going to put all these people that are supposed to be coming here, right? Like, I mean, if you're going to expand like a theme parks, you know, and make these new attractions, like, I want people sleeping on my property and spending money at the resort. So there has to be some kind of development, because I mean, I just said this is for DVC, but I was just like, oh, I was looking for this weekend, you know, maybe to get down there, and there's like nothing available for me for 2 nights. Mm-hmm. So now I'm not going, you know. I could have, I was just like, because I get in those moments, right? Like, oh yeah, I'm booking something right now, and then they lost me because there was nothing available. So now I'm not going to spend a bunch of money this weekend. So, I mean, I feel like they just need more availability with rooms, and it's a no-brainer to add. And I've been saying it for years. I know the two of you have as well. Like that, I want that moderate resort. We need a moderate resort so bad. Yeah, I have to believe they're in development, or at least got to be thinking about where they're going to put this, because it needs to happen really soon, I think.
I think you're right.
But I hope they do that. What you just said, Scott, like go for a moderate and even build a value at some point, because I mean, I feel like everything. I feel like sometimes Disney is very tone deaf on things. Like they're so like they're laser focused on things, and they can't, like, it's almost like they have blinders on. And I love the Disney company, don't get me wrong, but I think sometimes they have blinders on to, like, my way of seeing things is just a dude that is very blue collar from Missouri, where like and I know you can't go back in time. I'm not saying they need to, but there's a lot of folks out there that need to experience Disney from a value or moderate point of view. I know the DVC locks people in and gets people to buy contracts, and it is I get that they're a business and they need to make money, and the shareholder thing, people always give that argument. I understand that. And I'm not saying you can't have that. They can keep building DVC resorts, but in addition, give us a nice new moderate resort. Give us another couple of value resorts, because that segment of the population still, like the people that go to All-Stars, there's a lot of those people out here still, you know, all over the country, all over the world. There's a lot of people that would appreciate a moderate resort that don't want to buy into DVC. They just want to go on a vacation, you know, and they can't afford to maybe go to the beach club. Like, that's aspirational, maybe later on down the line when they get a better job. But when they're starting out in life and maybe just got out of college, that's your gateway in. You know, that's how it was for me. All-Star Sports was my first day, and it was a splurge to go to All-Star Sports.
For sure. Mm-hmm. And with the resort, like, they have to think about so many like downstream effects of the resorts, right? Because then you have to think about transportation options. Like, where are we putting this resort? Now we have to bring X amount of buses in fleet, or do we need to build another Skyliner line because of where we're strategically putting this resort? So, I mean, that could be part of the reason why they're like not ready to do that yet, because like you're going to get that many more buses on the roads or whatever, and they have to build this other infrastructure for the resort to happen. Because I worry about more resorts. I do worry about the transportation, because with the Polynesian, for example, I'm like really worried about that monorail line with what they're doing with the DVC there. So I feel like they got to build some other transportation options, as silly as that may sound, before they can do the resorts.
And Lisa here, she's down in Mobile, Alabama. Shout out Bama. Says, my kids said that they were over the parks and needed a break. And I'll be honest, I was hearing this here and there from people, but she said after D23, the kids were now excited again. And I think that's going to ring true for a lot of folks, because, you know, like, I think a lot of folks had said, like, I've been to the Magic Kingdom, been there, done that. Because think about it, even with the Epcot transformation, there wasn't a whole lot of new excitement in how they redid the front of the park, right? I mean, you got Moana, but I mean, it wasn't going to really like move the needle for somebody like Mallory. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's a 16-year-old girl. Like, it's cool. Like, and I went through it. But I mean, a whole Villains Land and a couple of Cars experiences. And she loves the movie Monsters, Inc. She's always loved that since she was a child. Like, she was Sully one year for Halloween. It was the cutest little costume. But I mean, to go over and ride that Monsters, Inc. coaster, like at the studios in a few years, like that moves the needle. Like, I mean, we may get annual passes off the whole family again for a year. Like, they haven't had annual passes in 5 years. Like, that is excitement. And that does get me excited as Disney. I mean, do you guys feel that way? I mean, I think that, but this has to, like, I have to see stuff moving. I have to see it.
No, and I know that people are skeptical. Obviously, that's a thing that has been talked about a lot of, okay, we'll see what happens, or it'll be 2068 before we see all this happen, or, whatever. And I think we have to remember two things. One, COVID definitely knocked out a lot of what they had planned, in general. I mean, it did. It knocked out a lot of Epcot. Epcot did not become what it was announced as, and that's definitely stuck in a lot of people's craw. And then two, you had Bob Chapek, who, let's be honest, didn't really like spending money. So you had somebody who wanted to pull back on budgets, and then you had COVID, and those two things were just a death knell for a lot of what happened, what was announced at Epcot. So people are very gun shy, I think, because it took forever for, not a whole lot of change. I mean, there was definitely some change, and trust me, Epcot needed it. I mean, we forget Interventions was a complete shell of itself. Electric Umbrella was a terrible restaurant. You had Universe of Energy, which was so dated. I loved it, but it was dated as all get out. I mean, there were a lot of things that needed fixing at Epcot, and they have addressed a lot of those things. It's just Epcot was in such a not great state before they started it. So, like, the fact that we got what we got is really good, all things considered. But then, you also look at it and, people are so gun shy with, this is never going to happen. Are they actually going to do this? And I think they are, because they know they have to deliver on this. They know that people are judging them based off of what they did at Epcot or what they didn't do at Epcot. And they knew that anything that they have announced at this D23 Expo has to happen. Because if it doesn't, people are going to be really, really upset. And really maybe turn on the Disney company in that regard, because then they're going to be like, well, look, you've, overpromised and underdelivered again. What's up? So I think barring any major disasters, which of course we know can still happen, I think we're going to get all of this. I really, really do. I think, the only thing that worries me is the Villains Land, which we'll talk about later. But I really, really think we're going to get all of the things that were announced at D23, because they have to. You know what I'm saying? They really know they have to this time.
Unless they can find an excuse like a recession or something like that. I mean, there are other variables which they could use as a crutch, but we'll talk about that on Friday, because that's Friday. We'll talk about that Friday. But Danielle over on Instagram says, her comment about the resorts, though, she says they definitely need a new moderate or even a value. We go every year. She says they've gone 20 plus times in her life and have never spent the cash on a deluxe resort. She says they just choose not to spend the cash on that. They spend the money. They just don't spend it on where they stay. They'd rather stay value and spend it on probably dining or staying extra days at the parks or souvenirs.
Or merchandise.
Exactly. I mean, it's just, again, everybody's got a set amount of money, and just how you spend it's different for everybody. All right. Shout out to Francois. Let's have some fun. Let's do this. It's like my blood pressure is a little high. My Apple Watch says, Mike, do a fun question. Okay, here we go. We have a bench. What is this? Oh, I gotta go back up here. Wait, what we call these again?
Start, bench, or cut.
Yeah, start, bench, or cut. Okay, so play along with us. Everybody take a breath. Take a breath. Do you guys all turn that off on your Apple Watch? When they set that thing out where it told you to breathe, like every once in a while.
Oh, yeah, I don't think it does that.
I haven't had that on in years.
Yeah, I haven't either. Because Pam left that thing on. My wife would have that thing on forever. I'm like, isn't that the most annoying thing in the world? Turn that thing off. Like, I would tell her, like, it'd be like, take a breath. I'm like, you want your watch telling you to breathe? Like, I do that automatically. Anyway, Francois says, so here it is for you guys. Even if I know how Mike will answer. Okay, well, here we go. Start, bench, or cut. Best fried oh, here we go. Best fried chicken on property. 1, Olivia's. 2, Art Smith's Homecoming. Or 3, 50's Primetime Cafe. Ladies first, you got to start, bench, or cut. Ricky?
Okay. I was thinking about this while I was reading it. I think I'm going to start Art Smith because they do have amazing fried chicken there. So I'm going to start that one. I'm going to bench 50's. It's good and I love it. I don't know if it's as good as it used to be. You know, I think that it's still really delicious and I'm going to enjoy it, but it's lost a little. And then I'm sorry, but I'm going to cut Olivia's. I don't think their fried chicken is as good as the other two. So
we just lost Ricky on the call.
Yeah, I'm no longer on the podcast.
Sorry, we just lost Ricky. Okay, yeah. Scotty G, but
let's see. I'm probably not going to be okay with podcast fans, so I apologize in advance, but I do not think the Art Smith Homecoming chicken is very good.
Okay.
It's just not my thing. So that's what I'm cutting, and by default, I don't really think 50's Primetime Chicken is very good either. So that's going to be on my bench, and then Olivia is number 1 for me. I'm starting Olivia's for sure. And it's not like really, and Olivia's isn't really like fried chicken either. It's like that buttermilk chicken. It's slightly a little different if you ask me, but
I agree.
Since those were the 3 options, I got to go with Olivia's number 1.
Yep, same. Starting Olivia's, benching. I do like Southern chicken though. I'm benching because you get more. I'm going for quantity. Art Smith's is a bigger portion, so I'm going to go with Art Smith. I'm going to cut 50's Primetime. Even though I do love 50's Primetime, but I always get the sampler when I go to 50's Primetime, so I only get a little. I never get the full-on chicken because I always want to get meatloaf and pot roast as well with my meal. But I mean, I would take any of the 3 right now in front of me, and it would get destroyed within 5 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
God, oh my God, buttermilk chicken right now. Oof.
See, I like the chicken at Art Smith's Homecoming, like at brunch, like with the Hallelujah biscuit. It comes with like some chicken. I like it like that. I just don't like the fried chicken like as like it's entree. Like I can't explain why, but it's weird. It has to be the Hallelujah biscuit, which I remember, Mike, when the first time we ordered that. I don't know if you remember. You finished that, and our server was like, "Oh my gosh, you're the first guy I've ever seen finish that whole meal."
And this is what it sounded like when I cleaned the plate. Because I'm a hungry dude. I burn a lot of calories. All right, we have a question here from Jen, Len's wonderful wife out in Maryland. Len and I are headed down for the holidays. Shout out to Ben for booking that while you were on your cruise. Hey, Ben, thank you for taking care of that. We're really looking forward to Jollywood Nights and are considering jazzy holidays at the Brown Derby. We're not drinkers, and my diet restrictions might not work with their event menu of light bits. But we love to hear jazz music. Is it worth booking? I don't know about this. Anybody know about that party?
Well, I'm the only one I think that has gone to Jollywood. Granted, I went on opening night, which was not the best night, for people to go.
Dude, that was the best night because, man, that almost ended social media that night.
It did almost end social media. I did not have the same horrific experience that everyone else did. But I did not. That is the one thing that I did not do because it was such a bad night, and that was one of the things that went downhill fast for everybody at the first thing. So I didn't end up getting in there. Personally, what I heard was there was not that much jazz music in there. So I am going to say go to the Tip Top Lounge, which I'm not sure where that's going to be this year, but that was over last year. It was over by the Tower of Terror. They were fantastic. They did jazzy songs over there, and you didn't have to have the restaurant of the Hollywood Brown Derby. So I would say go over to see them. They were spectacular. Matter of fact, I started following the performer that was the main singer on Instagram, and she did an amazing job singing. And I think that you're gonna have a better time watching them and enjoying them instead of trying to maybe get into the Brown Derby. I would eat other places. There will be a lot of great options to dine on, I feel like, this year for Jollywood Nights. and it will be a better experience because that was the other problem was dining. I think it'll be a much better experience this year than it was last year.
Yeah, it got better definitely as the season went on. And I'm with you. I would not do the party if you have dietary restrictions and you don't drink. Like, there's going to be other live entertainment options. I would save them.
Exactly.
I say go to like the Cascat Lounge over at French Quarter just one night and just watch some jazz over there because that is a hopping spot. It's awesome.
That is a cool spot. You could do that on another night. And actually, it's probably just as comfortable. Not as many people. And that's a great option.
Just a more like intimate like atmosphere, I feel like.
Yeah, so that's a great
and
spot.
And they do jazz on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday nights, I believe. Subject to change, but it hasn't changed in a while.
That's a good spot. All right, last question of the day. It's about transportation. It's from Allison. Hey, Mike, Ricky, Pam, and Scott. I'm headed down to Walt Disney World on a multi-generational trip in January. This is the first time I'm traveling with my son, who's going to be 18 months old at the time of the trip. We're flying down along with my in-laws. My question is, what is my best option for transfer from the airport to Wilderness Lodge upon our arrival? I don't plan on traveling with a car seat for my son, and my father-in-law is handicapped. I also really haven't figured out the logistics of getting him off the plane and to whatever our transportation will be. He can walk, but only very short distances and can't walk upstairs at all. So whatever option we choose should be fully handicap friendly. They are renting motorized wheelchairs, but believe they can get them at the resort. Was hoping you guys or one of the listeners have some suggestions because I'm overwhelmed trying to coordinate everything. Thanks much, Allie. So Ricky, what do you think? Or Scott, either one.
I mean, I was thinking mirrors, maybe.
Yeah, they would take care of that. Yeah, definitely.
I was thinking the mirror service for sure would be great for that because they're handicap accessible, so you can get on with the wheelchair. And I believe now I haven't firsthand experienced this, but like the airport associates, like their service people can help wheelchair off the plane, and I think they might be able to get you to where you need to get towards like where you board the meters, but I'm not 100% certain on that. I don't know when they stop helping service, if it's just on and off the plane and then maybe you handle it from there. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. With Southwest, I know that they do push the wheelchairs maybe down to baggage claim.
Now, the only thing that I worry about though is she said you can't climb stairs and you'd have to climb stairs to get on a bus, but maybe they could do one of the shuttle vans.
But Mirrors, if you talk to Mirrors, they have lots of options. They don't just have motor coaches. And and their website's mirrorsconnect.com, so you can probably get a lot of information there.
I would check there for sure.
So they'll check that out. Okay, and real quick, last week we talked about Good Gravy. And
yes, we did. We got a lot.
The roller coaster that is at Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana. And the amount of email that I got this week about the Good Gravy coaster at Holiday World was overwhelming. So shout out to everybody who emailed photos, stories, and anecdotes about riding in a gravy boat, both forwards and backwards.
I thought the coaster was like going to be like a kiddie coaster.
No, this thing goes forwards and backwards. An
intense coaster.
It goes out of the station backwards, apparently. I mean, it was all the talk on our travel and the Magic for Less, like internal website workplace thing that we use. Agents have like done this many times. It goes out of the station backwards, and like you're like, oh, where'd the gravy boats go? Right through the station again forwards, and then comes back again. It's wild. So I'm telling you, man, you got to save Thanksgiving, and it's no joke. But it said it only on the website only goes like 37 miles an hour. It sure looked like it was going faster than that on the video.
Maybe.
So anyway, thank you to everybody, especially Jenna Butler and all kinds of folks that sent us good gravy feedback. Good gravy. All right, that's going to do it for
really what the name of the attraction is? It's
my God, look it up, Holiday World. Look at it, Google it. It's great. Did you ride in a gravy boat? It's no joke. I know, that's what everybody said. I was like, because we hear commercials for it constantly in St. Louis because we're 3 hours exactly west of this park. And so they're always hitting our market with ads. And so I brought it up, and Pam and Ricky are like, yeah, whatever. It's not real. I'm like, it is real. It's a gravy boat roller coaster, and it's pretty cool. Anyway, so we are getting out of here, but we're going to be back again on Friday talking about all D23, the whole show. We haven't even touched like Monsters Inc. Land coming to the studios. We haven't talked about the 4 new ships coming to the Disney Cruise Line fleet. We haven't talked about Disneyland. They're going to get some stuff. That video that I saw for the new Avengers attraction, one of them.
Gosh,
dude,
yes.
I don't think I could take that. It looked pretty cool, but we'll talk about that Friday.
We'll talk about Friday. We'll talk about it.
Everybody's got to come back. We got that. So we're jumping out of here, but where you need to talk about this, because we've been talking about this nonstop since Saturday night, is the Clubhouse. Come over to beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. We have a channel. It's the D23 Expo Hall. Jump in there. We have tweets. We have videos. We have conversations. Hop in there. We have channels for everything, but that's where it's really been going wild and crazy since Saturday night. Just hop in. We'll welcome you in and have a great time over there. So beourguestpodcast.com/clubhouse. Don't forget the show is always brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure. No additional cost to you. Check out all the details right now over at themagicforless.com. Please also use our Amazon affiliate link as you get those last minute back to school items. You need a Trapper Keeper. Probably don't need that. I don't know what you need. Pencil pouch. What else could you need? Some new Keds, some new Air Jordans, whatever you need. beourguestpodcast.com/Amazon. And thank you to our patrons. You guys are the heart and soul of our show. $5 a month is all it takes, keeps us on the air. And for that, we give you a big thank you. It's a bonus show called Mike in the Midwest every week. Come on over to patreon.com/beourguestpodcast. Give us a follow on the social media. Scott's at EpScott. He'll keep you up to date with everything going on with must-see adventures at EpScott. Ricky's at Ricky Nibs. She'll keep you up to date with everything going on over at DisneyWorldAfterAll.com. I'm Be Our Guest Mike. I'll keep you up to date with everything I do on the treadmill or around the lake every morning if you're ever curious about that, and with the podcast, of course, as well. And, of course, Sunday night we'll have the live call-in show where we just turn the show over to you. Pick up your cell phone, you dial 407-413-9395, and you're on the show. We feature you. So Sunday night, 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, give us a yell and tell us what you think about everything going on in the Disney universe. All right, till we get back together on Friday. Hope you have a great Wednesday. Enjoy it. Make somebody's day today. Get out there and have fun. So until we talk, for Ricky and Scott, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Wednesday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon.
You've been listening to the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. If you have questions, comments, or would like to be a guest on the show, please visit our website at beourguestpodcast.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you real soon.